ball fans. We have made it to another beautiful Saturday. And if you live anywhere like I live right now, it's definitely a brisk 50 degrees and feels like nothing but fall weather. Go hit somebody if you've got a chance today. Joined this week, I have my partner in crime back, Mr. James Lilliquist. James, how we doing?
If you don't think I ain't going to hit nobody here in Knoxville, Tennessee, they can't arrest us all. They can't arrest us all.
Can you even get out of your house?
No.
Okay, I didn't think so.
I live 10 miles away and I still can't. No.
I was worried about you. You started sending us pictures and I was worried that, you weren't going to be able to get out.
No. Oh, no. It was crazy Thursday. Well, it was worse yesterday. It's going to be
hopefully you don't have to go anywhere today because good luck.
Yeah. Well, I got back roads. We have the back roads.
Good luck. James, the one guarantee we have in college football is there will always be some surprise teams to start the season. I've got a list of them here. We're going to go through some. Florida State. These teams are all undefeated. Florida State, Syracuse, Duke, Kansas, Iowa State, Rutgers, Oregon State, Washington, and Washington State. Give me your one you're going to talk about that surprises you the most.
Well, you know what? I'm going to let you have your boy, okay?
Thank you.
I'm going to let you have your boy
for a minute, so I appreciate you.
Yeah, I wasn't going to jump out there and steal your boy.
I appreciate you.
Honestly, it's the ACC teams. I mean, who would have thought the undefeated teams would be Florida State, who you thought was going to be running their team out, running their coach out for prime.
Right.
Cuse, who we thought were going to run Dino Babers. Duke, who looks like Mac Elko brought the entire anything that was Texas A&M offense with him.
I like Duke. I saw today they're averaging like 50 something points a game. They're up in like that Tennessee territory. I don't expect that to hang around because they're going to start playing real teams soon. But I am pleasantly surprised how early Duke looks.
They look. I thought Virginia Tech would be the surprising team in the ACC with a new coach. And
they were. Then they lost to Old Dominion.
Exactly.
So they did surprise us. They lost to Old Dominion.
They did. Yeah, they lost to Old Dominion. They lost the fun. They got fun belted. Hashtag.
Sorry, a lot of teams got fun belted this year. I think in the ACC, I'm more surprised by Syracuse. We kind of touched on, was this going to be Dino Babers last year? And, that game last night was like, ugly. What did old JR used to say? Bowling shoe ugly?
It was bowling shoes ugly.
Bowling shoe ugly. Yeah. Syracuse turned the ball over 4 times. Virginia couldn't do anything on special teams to save their life last night.
How many targeting penalties were there?
Yeah, there was terrible targeting penalties. That was just a very poorly played game.
I don't know that. I don't know that Virginia targeting was textbook. I mean, dude.
Yeah, we were going back and forth. Like these announcers were like, "Is that really target?" I'm like, "Come on."
Yes, it is.
Come on now. But I think now Syracuse will start playing real teams here soon. They play. Who do I have? They play Wagner next week. So they should be 5-0.
Okay.
If they win 2 more games, they have Boston College at the end of the year. If they can find an upset, I don't know how you run Dino Babers.
I don't think you run Dino Babers if they make a bowl.
That's what I'm saying. And I'm going to give you the Boston College win because they have looked like hot trash all year.
Yes.
But if he finds a way to go 7-5, and if you look at that schedule, it has Wake, Clemson, NC State. How do you run him? The question is, if you don't run them, are you going to fall back to a 4-8 team next year?
I don't think they are because I honestly the issues are at quarterback.
He looked okay. I wish
he looked okay at points, but I feel like he's a quarterback away from actually being a really good football team. I don't think the quarterback's the best thing.
I wish they would run the ball more. Sean Tucker is a legit back.
They don't have an offensive line to do that, though. I mean, look at that offensive line.
Last drive. Those last couple of plays on that drive led to the field goal that won them the game. Sean Tucker hit the hole for a 12-yard, and then he pulled it on the option, and then the
quarterback had a 15-yard sack.
16, right. So, and then also didn't know how to throw the ball away.
Yeah.
So Syracuse, I think, is my biggest surprise out of the ACC. I've been on the Lance Leipold train for a long, long time. I loved him when he was in Buffalo. I thought he was a great hire at Kansas. All week, actually, I've been on the Kansas train, and nobody's wanted to listen to me. But, what's new?
Whoa. I've listened to you. However, we weren't going to go to game day. I'm sorry. They weren't going to Lawrence, Kansas for game day.
Hashtag get game day to Lawrence. That's going to be the hashtag we carry around. Fun belt and get game day to Lawrence.
No. You could take that fun belt, but they could go to game day anytime. You know that right now the insanity that's going on in Knoxville is worth the
It's a lot of fun to watch. I'll say that. Speaking of surprises, Kansas is undefeated. Wait, Vandy hit their over already. So it's kind of, UConn is the only blue blood in college basketball that's not undefeated in college basketball or college football right now. You've got UNC, Kansas, Duke, Kentucky, UCLA. So it's good to see. I'm happy to see Kansas back on a national scale. They won the game on the road at West Virginia. They won against the AAC favorite this year in Houston. They play Duke today. I think they can find 2 more wins in Big 10 and Big 12 play and make a bowl game.
I think they definitely have a shot.
I love what Lance Leipold's doing. Yeah. If I'm Kansas, I build a fence around Lawrence, and nobody is coming to talk to Lance Leipold.
Yeah, you cut the phone line.
Shut up with your he deserves better. Give Kansas their moment, okay?
They better cut the phone lines. They better cut all internet access.
New phone. Who dis?
Yeah, exactly. You better be new phone in this because somebody got to come get him.
Somebody is. You are absolutely correct. Somebody's going to come get him, and I just wish that he would stay there long enough to see this through. But
now my other surprise team, and I hate to give this man any credit because we did run him out of Knoxville before he could even be hired. Greg Schiano is 3-0 at Rutgers.
Are you really surprised that he is succeeding at Rutgers after being there previously and succeeding?
No, because that's where he should be, and that's where he should never leave. I'm sorry, but
because he did anywhere else.
Exactly, he's terrible.
Ask Tampa Bay to tell you.
Exactly, I don't like him. I didn't think he was a great fit for Knoxville. He should stay at Rutgers.
Neither did anybody else, apparently.
No.
Neither did anybody else, apparently.
When you have active restaurant, you will not be welcomed as the head coach of the football team.
Man,
this is where we go.
And Tennessee is the second biggest. The University of Tennessee, rivals the Titans is who's going to be bigger in that area.
No. Titans aren't in the air. No, Titans aren't even barely. They get shoved down our throats. We have more fans of like Atlanta and Washington and Cincinnati than we do Nashville.
I mean, I believe it. I think that pretty much touches,
I mean, and also shout outs to the state of Washington and
that's what
Oregon
I was.
State,
you took the words out of my mouth. I was going to watch Washington State.
How did the Pacific Northwest finally figure out how to play good football again? I mean, it was rough there for a while.
Bum ass Jimmy Lake out of the head coach at Washington, and they got a quarterback, and they brought in Caleb DeBow, who can coach some offense. I told you to watch out for Washington State with Cam Ward. They already beat Wisconsin on the road. Now, have they played the kind of offense I expected? No. But they played complementary offense to whatever defense that the Pac-12 never plays.
Listen, you have to have a year grace period from being Jarrett Garantano'd, okay?
Well, they had that last year, and here we are. They're 3-0.
Exactly.
They play at USC. They play at Oregon. Excuse me. Oregon comes into Washington at 3:30 today. So
yes.
I'm going to be watching that game. We got a couple of big games today. At noon, you have Clemson plays Wake Forest. And then at 3:30, your boys, Florida, plays at Tennessee, which, from talking already, James can't get out of his house and hasn't been able to get out of his house since Monday.
So the meme. So the meme of the old man there who's been getting beat up in COD, and the next thing you know, he turns on the N64 and the GoldenEye comes on. And he starts going, "This is your ass, boy. This is your whoa." He's getting all jazzed up for it.
Right.
That's what's going on in Knoxville right now. Yeah. We have turned off Modern Warfare. We turned back on the GoldenEye, and we about to.
I just want to know how you feel. And James, I have all the love in the world for you. I told you before we started, I'm going to be rooting for Tennessee, and I'm not really sure how I feel about that yet. You referred it as to not knowing what to do with your hands. And that's kind of like, what are these? What am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to get loud when Tennessee scores? You're gonna have to learn me how to do this. I don't know. Just a reminder, I don't want to take shots at you, James. 15-1, Florida is in the last 16 against Tennessee. Also, Pat McAfee brought me a nice stat just a few minutes ago. When you checker Neyland, you're 1-4. So,
but who was that one against?
I don't know.
That'd be the University of Florida in 2019.
I started doing this.
And the Jawan Jennings keeps running on Tees Tabor.
Also, what's your thoughts on Cedric Tillman not playing today? How big of an effect do you think that is?
I mean, it's going to be of an effect because that is a Hendon Hooker safety blanket. However, the wide receiving core is probably one of the deepest spots of the Tennessee roster. I mean, congratulations. Cedric Tillman's out there, but you got Jalen Hyatt, Brew McCoy, and you've also got Ramel Keaton also there. You also got Squirrel White, who I think might have a big game here. He's a true freshman. He's kind of tall, but he's very fast.
Okay. I also want to point out, give some Hendon Hooker some love. Also, I loved the Hendon Hooker sign on game day. If you haven't seen it yet, it's a picture of Hendon Hooker, and it says, "This is the best hooker in town." So, if that's probably one of the best ones I've seen.
I like the hookers cause reptile dysfunction.
That's funny. I've seen some stupid stat like 40 touchdowns and 2 interceptions since he became the starter last year. They're talking about how he never speeds up. He always plays at his own pace. And I just want to, Anthony Richardson has the same amount of touchdown passes as tackles this year at 3.
Yes. Yeah, that's not good.
And he hasn't thrown a touchdown pass since the Utah game to start the season. They lost to Kentucky. They should have lost to USF last week. So I definitely think Tennessee can get out to a fast start and start to just build on that.
Well, the fun thing about this Tennessee team this year is we've actually been slow in the first quarter as we were last year. We were very, very fast. So it's been actually kind of interesting to see us ramp it up in the second and third quarters than we have the first quarter.
And that's what I told you. I would like when we talk about Tennessee in the talking season, because we don't use the O word here.
Nope. Bad words.
The O word. It's talking season. We talked about how I want to see Tennessee score for over 4 quarters.
And they did that against Pitt.
We had a conversation about the Pitt game at the beginning of the season where Tennessee scored early and they didn't score in the second half, but the defense played up, to keep that game close, and they won it in overtime. So I'm excited to see. This is the greatest quote ever, and I'll let you go over it in a minute. I'm excited to see Tennessee play another ranked team, and I want to see them play a full 4 quarters of football, even if they don't go out 17-0 in the first quarter. Just play a consistent 4 quarters of football.
I think the big thing right now is that you're seeing this as an evolution of Josh Heupel. Is that the Pitt game showed me a lot of things, and one of them was that he played complementary football for his offense. It wasn't just go as fast as humanly possible. It was he slowed it down for the defense to recover in the second half when he knew that they were gassed. That is a different wrinkle that we didn't see last year.
No, because Tennessee would score 20, 24 points in the first quarter and then have 34 points on the game.
Exactly.
And they didn't play for 4 quarters. And
you see that coming right now. So I'm excited for the game. Hopefully it's over by halftime. Hopefully, I am not going to disagree with you. I do think Tennessee has the ability to go out and just blow this game open early, because I'm not sure how good of a thrower Anthony Richardson is, nor do I think he has a wide receiver that's just going to go beat anybody. I have an interesting stat about Anthony Richardson is that
was it more interesting than 3 tackles and 3 touchdowns?
That's better. It's actually every time he drops back to pass, he has a 12% chance of throwing an interception.
That is hilarious. I don't know how much better I could do, but
I mean,
I do think that is an interesting stat.
That is a very interesting stat because normally it's 6 or 8%, and he's at 12.
So he's double what he just doesn't look comfortable. It seemed like that first game was raw hype and emotion, and then it just seems like he hasn't been able to settle back down.
I think
it's almost like he's still too high on that win against Utah.
I think it's that, and also that teams have decided, hey, we're not going to let you beat us with your legs. You're going to have to throw the football, and he have to consistently show it. It's the Colin Kaepernick. I unfortunately have to use that way of we're not going to let you beat us with your legs and throwing. We're going to send you down to one way. Right.
And I'm going to let you go before we jump off the Tennessee game. I'm going to let you jump on the Tony Vitello, because we have talked about it all week. And
that beautiful man.
If you do not want this man as your head baseball coach, you're lying.
You're not going to get him.
There are 2 types of people: people that want Tony Vitello as their head coach, and people that are lying.
Exactly. You will not get him out of Knoxville.
Float,
we are not.
We float that sums up this weekend in Knoxville. Tony Vitello said, James, on national TV at that, on the Paul Feinbaum show, said, James.
Oh, you want me to say this?
Yes.
Because I know this verbatim.
This is your moment. Game day is at your school. You're playing a ranked team, and I'm playing a
You're playing Kent State. You're playing
a Pop-Tart.
Yeah. So his number one goal for today is to not get arrested.
Right.
But our answer for the university's answer to that was they can't arrest us all.
Back to my point. There are two types of people in the world: people that walk Tony Vitello at their university and liars.
Exactly. He turned a team that he used to get a crowd of 12 into it being sold out already.
I remember why I watched the Supers and the regionals for the whole College World Series. That looked like it was the most fun environment of all the teams that got to host. That looked like it was the most fun environment.
I was really excited for Statesboro just because I like Georgia State or Georgia Southern's atmosphere down there. Right. But yeah, Lindsey Nelson was a hornet's nest the entire year, and it just gets worse.
And they probably had one of the tougher regionals.
Yes, and it was the toughest regional.
And they probably had one of the tougher regionals. The other game, not shockingly, also comes out of the SEC. You have number 10 Arkansas playing number 24 A&M in these games we don't believe in. They're called neutral site games. All games be played on campus down in Jerry World. I'll probably have that on. I don't know how much attention I'm going to pay to it. I think Arkansas is going to take the Appalachian State route and just try to ball control the whole time. I mean, that's what they do anyways, is they just run the ball down your throat.
Are they going to run the ball there, Powell?
If I'm A&M, I am putting 6-7 guys in the box, and I'm making KJ Jefferson throw it the whole game.
But then you're leaving Hazelwood out on one-on-one. Congratulations.
Right. So pick your poison. Do you want KJ Jefferson and Raheem Sanders to just run all over you, or do you want to go play one-on-one with Hazelwood? Yeah.
Yeah. Congratulations. Good luck. That's why Arkansas is actually a really good team, and
they play defense.
And they
play timely defense.
They play very good situational defense.
Timely defense. I have sent over to you. Keith actually asked this question. I'm going to ask you this, and I haven't got on this. Who are your top 3 for Heisman this year?
Caleb Williams, obviously.
Right. And their cupcake soft schedule they've played so far. That's fine.
It gets ramped up here.
You're right, but I'm just a thought.
Tough. He has some pitfalls coming.
Okay.
I haven't really seen a lot about a JT Shrout to say that he would be a Heisman
DJ
hopeful
Shrout.
right now. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, he has the numbers because they played Arkansas State and Toledo, so the numbers are there. I'm going to be interested to watch him play that Wisconsin game tonight.
Exactly. I think Bryce Young did have a great Heisman moment, even though he is terrible for 3 quarters, but then he is this magical, perfect freaking Heisman machine in the 4th.
Right.
And if you're going to be good at 1 quarter, might as well be the 4th quarter.
Right. If you're going to be perfect at all, he single-handedly led that Alabama team to victory.
Exactly. He drugged them to victory.
He had nothing else going on in that game.
Outside of that, I really, it's too early for me to be talking Heisman. I don't like talking Heisman until October. November. It's kind of like the same thing about talking about the playoff. I don't like talking about the playoff until October, November.
I'm with you. I kind of watch, but I don't really. If I had to pick right now, I'm kind of going down the same. I'm going to go CJ Stroud because he's got the numbers. I'm going to go Bryce Young because he has the moment already. I'm going to go Caleb Williams because he has the numbers.
I'll call it right now. I'm going to get on my homer thing. It's going to be Hendon Hooker tonight when he throws for like 400 yards and 6 touchdowns. And
I am impressed by what Hendon Hooker has done in that Tennessee offense.
I'm joking completely, guys.
I am not. I also am going to watch Stetson Bennett as Georgia starts to play these SEC teams.
Stetson Bennett, surprisingly, what he did in South Carolina, I hate to break this. I hate to say this, but hashtag not your quarterback could be hashtag not your Heisman.
Hello. I am going to actually change my hashtag here soon. All I need is about one more game, and there's a video going around of him taking pictures with fans against South Carolina with 9 minutes left in the game. Hashtag he could be my quarterback. There's a small possibility that I may have been wrong.
I mean, he could be like Kenny Stabler, just walking around macking on women while during the middle of the game.
Well, I mean, like I said to you earlier, he's 35 in his 12th year. So he's got to be. He's on that Sean Clifford.
He's on that Van Wilder grind. Okay.
Yeah, he's on that Sean Clifford, Case Keenum eligible. Years thing. So, all right. Well, I've listed a couple of upsets here that we're looking out for. James, if you had to pick one, who are you going with?
My biggest one, and actually, it's going off the thing, and I'm going to have to jump off here. It sounds like my wife's waking up. I think Oregon State's going to get USC.
Okay, and they have beat USC 3 times
I'll be right back
as a top 10 team. So I like that. I do think that Jonathan Smith has got something going up there. We've got Chance Nolan at quarterback to throw the rock all over the yard. I am going to talk about Baylor and Iowa State. Iowa State's undefeated. The games is in Ames. We know about the Ames Magic. I don't know how impressed I was. They lost the game to BYU, but I'm not sure how impressed I am by the BYU game for Baylor. A couple of the other ones we have on here. Wake Forest is home against Clemson. We know what Sam Hartman can do. He's going to throw the ball everywhere. Kansas State over Oklahoma. I'm not sure if I feel like this is the year that Kansas State can go beat Oklahoma. The game is in Norman. But Kansas State has won the last 3 against Oklahoma. So we're going to be looking out for that one. Washington State with Cam Ward plays Oregon at home in Pullman. They beat Wisconsin earlier this year in a 17-14 low-scoring game. So I do think that Cam Ward and that Washington State offense can either keep up or keep the ball away from Oregon. The other one I'm going to look at is Utah and Arizona State, not because I really think Arizona State can win that game, but it's the first game under an interim head coach. So you never know how the players are going to respond to being under an interim head coach.
Is the coaching staff going to be sending the opposing team the game plans?
Right, that part too, because there's a report about that. And Keith is also on the Washington State over Oregon thing as well. So shout out to our buddies over at Washington. And the one that you brought up was Minnesota over Michigan State, and surprisingly, Minnesota is actually the favorite.
I was actually going to say Michigan State beating Minnesota.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But Michigan. Well, that's what I'm saying. But Minnesota is actually the favorite, which kind of surprised me.
Yes, it is because we got PJ Fleck up there doing his PJ
Well,
Fleck.
while we're rowing our boat, we've rowed our boat through Cupcake Island.
Exactly. And now you get to play a real team.
I'm going to be interested to watch that game as well.
Which Michigan State isn't the best team in the world, but they've at least played people.
No, but it's not Colorado. It's not Weber State. It's not Tarleton State. I don't really know who they played, but
Weber State. Oh wow, they stayed out of the Mountain Time Zone. Good job, guys.
All right. Well, we are now on week 3.5/4, depending on your week 0 feel. We love week 0 over here.
Football is football.
We have 2 openings already, Nebraska and Arizona State. James, if you had to pick, which one are you taking?
I'm taking Arizona State, and only because I want Jamie Chadwell to be lighting up the Pac-12.
If you had to go pick a coach, if you had to coach one of those teams, which jobs are you taking?
Oh, I'm taking Nebraska easily. The fan base is great.
That's what I thought you were going to say. I'm going to Arizona State. And here's why. You're in the Pac-12, which is going to get weaker. And I feel like Arizona State has more I feel like Nebraska still expects to be 12-0 every year. And Keith, this is Herm Edwards' story. Is ugly. It's not going to get any better. They're debating if they're even going to pay his buyout right now. Basically, the wordage of the way he was dismissed is going to determine if they're going to pay his buyout or not. So that's interesting as well. Welcome to college football. I'm going to take the Arizona State job. I feel like they have more realistic expectations. And they have a recruiting pipeline to California. Nebraska cut their pipeline off to Texas and still expects to be 12-0 every year.
I don't think they expect to be 12-0 every year, but
I do. They fired Bo Pelini for winning 9 and 10 games every year.
That was Bo Pelini. That was a different time. And then since then, they've come back down to earth. I know those fan bases. I've been in Nebraska. It's a wonderful fan base.
If you were the AD at Nebraska right now, hey, I'm going to hire you, and I expect blank amount of wins. How many wins are you expecting?
I expect 8 or 9 wins.
Okay. I don't feel like Nebraska views themselves as 8 or 9 win team right now.
You are in a different pool now. I mean, I understand this as a Tennessee fan. We had to get our back broken and be humbled, Baba. i.e. Iron Sheik ways.
Yeah, because you said, "Oh, we can do it with Derek Dooley and Butch Jones and Jeremy Pruitt."
Yeah,
and it does, sometimes it takes a couple of coaching styles. Keith saying he would take Arizona State because you can party. I think Arizona State is ranked as one of the.
No, them in Tennessee have gone professional. We are no longer allowed to be collegiate party schools anymore.
Right. So I like that. Plus, we can party and we can have realistic expectations. Although, if you believe the Luke Bryan song, rain makes corn, corn makes whiskey, whiskey makes my baby feel a little frisky.
Exactly. So, you got a lot of corn
Nebraska,
out there.
What do we raise?
We raise a lot of corn.
I don't know, Keith. Y'all let me know. Do y'all want to
go there? So the thing I love about Nebraska, is that they are the closest to an SEC type fan base. This is the only place where I've ever been that they actually had fan shops in malls and stuff like that.
And we've had this conversation before. You do always give them that they do have the passion for the football team.
They do, and I feel like Arizona State does it because they have the passion to go get drunk at Lake Havasu. So there's that.
And they don't have Arizona State doesn't have the football history that Nebraska has either.
No. When you're trotting out like Jake Plummer and God rest his soul, Pat Tillman as your like top guys, like Terrell Suggs went there. There's a handful of really great ASU players.
Right.
There's nothing much there, and you're going to Tempe.
Yeah. Tempe. Where it's a dry heat.
It's a dry heat, exactly. It's not hot.
Well, come down here to the South and we'll show you hot.
I laughed. I was in Utah last year, and people were complaining about the heat, and me and my wife were sitting out there not even sweating, going like, "Is this hot?" I mean,
right?
You won't come on down.
When does the heat start?
Yeah, when is this heat starting?
So we'll agree to disagree because I think Nebraska has unrealistic expectations at times. You're right; it may be a different time, but I know they fired Bo Pelini for 9 or 10 wins.
I think they'd take Bo Pelini back now.
I think they need to go back to the Big 12. I understand the financial I understand the financial gain from moving to the Big 10. You're making more money. But what have you done since you moved to the Big 10?
They sold their souls for money, I know.
And Keith, again, his wife lived in Nebraska, the state line in the 90s, so I'm sure she has all the stories to tell.
Yo, do not be sleeping on Council Bluffs, Iowa. All right, that's a party and a half, all right?
All right, so I have some /could/will be because there are some stories out that some of these will be opened. I'm going to give you the school. I want you to tell me if you think they need an experienced head coach, an up-and-coming coordinator, and how many wins is realistic.
Okay.
Georgia Tech.
They need to go to an actual experienced coach.
I agree. And what is a reasonable expectation for them?
They should be like 7 or 8 wins. I mean, they're not in the toughest thing other than they play Georgia every year and you got to play Clemson.
I also agree, but for a different reason. You were in the heart of Atlanta.
Exactly.
It takes me from where I live like 40 minutes to get to Atlanta. There's so much to do in Atlanta. There's no reason why you can't get people to come to Atlanta.
I mean, so it's Atlanta. You've got the talent right there.
I feel like, and I heard something about when they do fire Jeff Collins, they could go after Deion Sanders.
He would kill it.
I think that would be a good hire. He played for the Falcons.
He played for the Braves.
I do think, and the Tech campus is like 30 minutes from Old Turner Field.
Exactly.
So I do think that's an interesting hire.
And he also has the connection to the HBCU
community
and everything
absolutely.
Like that. So
absolutely. The next one I have is Auburn. Because I feel like Clyde Harson's gone probably before the Alabama game.
I for one am happy they have taken the baton of flaming dumpster fire.
Yeah, we have gone back and forth, but I don't know if I disagree with you anymore. I've tried to disagree with you, but I don't know how much more dumpster fire you get than Auburn right now when you do a self-imposed investigation on a coach and find nothing.
The Yellowwood guy is worse than Jimmy Haslam right now. I never thought I'd ever see that happen. I never thought I'd see another booster be as terrible as Jimmy Haslam has been.
Right. And Auburn's another one that I feel like has unrealistic expectations.
You playing the SEC West.
Right. So you're playing Arkansas, Alabama, LSU, Mississippi State, Ole Miss every year.
Georgia. You're playing Georgia
every year. Oh, by the way, you can pull Tennessee. You can pull Florida out of the East in any year.
Congratulations.
I feel like 7 or 8 wins is realistic without a top-tier coach at Auburn.
And top-tier coach, who's going to want to go? I mean, outside of you're going to need to find that guy. I mean, Gus Malzahn was doing really good work there. Now, granted,
Gus Malzahn got fired for winning 8 or 9 games every year.
He was, but he was also falling off. I understand the want and everything. I feel like he's gotten kind of stagnant. I understand the trepidation and everything about wanting to move on. But you have to be, you have to give these guys time. And you're giving – Harsin has been there for a year and a half. He's had, 16 games?
12, 13, 14. Yeah, 16 games. 16 games.
He's had 16 games. Same thing as Josh Heupel. I understand he hasn't caught lightning in the bottle down there. But
they don't have
16 games is a little much.
They don't have
no quarterback. They don't have a quarterback. Exactly.
For some reason, you didn't start Zach Calzada.
Which probably because Zach Calzada was not good. But anyway.
He was better than the options you have. Instead, you started TJ Finley, who got arrested on day 1 of spring practice.
Exactly.
So that's on you. Experienced head coach or coordinator?
Nope. Need a head coach.
I agree completely. My next one is going to be Louisville. Scott Satterfield may or may not be fired, depending on what happens. But to me, I think Louisville needs a change. They are in the ACC now. They have Malik Cunningham at quarterback. They're athletic. I just don't know if he's getting it done the way I thought he would. I don't know if Lamar Jackson has put unrealistic expectations on the Louisville fan base. I'm not sure that Louisville needs an experienced head coach. I feel like they could get a coordinator with some P5, upper P5 experience, Big Ten, SEC, maybe an ACC coordinator. You had Tony Elliott leave for Virginia, who was the Clemson offensive coordinator last year. So I could see them going in conference to replace their if they decide to let them go. James, what are your thoughts on Louisville? Do they have what's realistic expectations? Did the Lamar Jackson? I feel did Lamar Jackson give Louisville unrealistic expectations?
Yes.
And see, that's my thought. Is I think maybe the years they had Lamar Jackson, I feel like they expect to win 9 games every year, which is I don't know as realistic as that can be.
That it's not, and I like the Louisville campus, but you are trying to fit square pegs into round holes right now.
They are top tier jerseys too, by the way.
They are. It's a great campus, great jerseys. I've always enjoyed their history, but they are still a building program. So I feel like unrealistic expectations.
They haven't even been in the ACC a decade yet.
They haven't yet, and I don't. But I do agree that I don't think Satterfield is the right fit there.
My thought was, and Keith agrees with me, I think Louisville could go for a coordinator with P5, an SEC, Big Ten, maybe even do like what Virginia did and hire from in conference. What kind of head coach do you think Louisville needs?
I think they would get an OC, although I feel like anything Power 5, you need to have an experienced head coach. However, that could be a great landing spot for a guy like Alex Golish out of Tennessee, the offensive coordinator there.
Right. I feel like even Todd Monken, the Georgia OC.
Monken would be a good one, yeah.
And
anything but Bill, maybe Bill O'Brien. Maybe Bill O'Brien should go there.
I know. I have a place for Bill O'Brien. Keith said after Lamar Jackson, they should have been able to build that program, and I agree completely.
I understand that, but Kentucky's a weird area where there's not a lot of great talent.
Right, but
the Kentuckiana area.
In Florida, you are what are we like 6 hours from Lexington? So you're 6 hours from the state of Georgia, where there are guys down here.
There are guys. However, it is really hard to pull from there. I mean, Stoops has made it made Kentucky more attractive than how the state of Kentucky is with football.
I've said it before, and I know I've said it to you, and I know I've said it live. Mark Stoops has the best job in the country. He gets SEC money with realistic expectations.
Yes, and I feel like Louisville should be in the same boat.
I agree. They should get ACC money for 7 wins every year.
Exactly.
All right, I failed Bill O'Brien's spot. You ready? Colorado will hopefully have their opening next year. Carl Doyle has not done anything for that program since he took over. I feel like they need I think Colorado needs an experienced head coach. I don't know what Colorado needs to build the program. Mike McIntyre had it there for a couple of years. I don't know what the identity of Colorado is. I feel like an experienced head coach because you're only going to your OC is not going to build anything. I don't feel like. The worst thing Colorado did was they don't have enough money invested in their athletics. They let Mel Tucker walk because they don't want to give him a raise. He left for Michigan State, and I feel like he was in the process of building something. Trev Alvarez said something about Bill O'Brien, and while I really don't like Bill O'Brien, I really think he would do good. He would do well here. If you look at the way that Bill O'Brien handled the Penn State scheme or the Penn State scandal and how he led them through there, I do feel like that could be beneficial to them. Keith, that's an interesting point there with Urban Meyer. My thing with Urban Meyer is my same thought I have with him in Nebraska. I'm not sure if he starts building there, how long he stays. Because Urban Meyer goes to Colorado, and in 2 years he's winning 10 games. Somebody's coming to get him. So that's my only thought is I'm looking for somebody that's going to build the program. I want the long haul fix. I don't want the quick fix there. So Urban in Colorado would be interesting, but I'm just not sure how the fit would look there.
That wouldn't fit.
Huh?
That's not a fit.
And
Urban is going to wait until he's ready, and he's going to step into a team that is ready made to win a championship.
And that's my thought. And even with him going to Nebraska, I want somebody, even in Nebraska, I want somebody that's going to build for 5 years down the road. I don't want the quick fix in 2 years.
Colorado is a program that is lost in the woods right now, and they're going to need to find the right guy. And I don't know if it's going to come from alumni, and I don't think it's going to come. They're going to have to find that mid-major guy that knows what he's doing down there. Probably
the first thing Colorado needs to do is invest more money in their athletics.
Well, obviously,
if they gave Keith says that will be awesome, but it'll likely never happen.
And there's your problem, and that's why you'll never be good at football again until that happens.
If Colorado would have invested more money in their athletics, Mel Tucker would still be the head coach, and that team would look way different.
It would, but that's not going to happen because they'd rather spend more money on their mascot than they would on their football program.
This one's interesting, and I understand the thought behind it because this team is 3-0, but they haven't looked impressive at all. And I'm going to address this really fast before we move on. I'm not sure what happened with Eric Bieniemy. He was talking to the Colorado people, or he was interested, and I'm not sure kind of what's going on with that.
I don't think he's going to be a great college coach. He's all of his time has been in the NFL.
And, I mean, he's an alum, so
okay.
That's why he gets brought up for that job every time.
I'm sorry. Here I go again doing a Paul Feinbaum impersonation, but can he recruit, Paul?
I don't know. We don't know yet.
I don't think he can recruit.
The next one I want to talk about
was a head coach of the NFL. He couldn't recruit.
Neither could Dan Mullen.
Exactly.
But I also like a Dan Mullen there too because you don't have to go recruit nationally. Like Florida had expectations to win national championships. Colorado, they'll give you a raise for going 7-5.
Exactly, and that's and that's where Mullen is works his best sweet spot at.
He goes 7-5, 8-4 every year, and then when he hits 10 wins, it looks really good.
Exactly.
This one I want to talk about next. They're undefeated, so this could sound like could kind of come out of nowhere. I got UCLA as a potential opening. I'm not sure how well the Chip Kelly experiment has gone over in LA there. They struggled last week bad against South Alabama. I'm not quite – and with an experienced DTR. So I'm just not sure how well that experiment has gone over. Sure, you blew out, Bowling Green and Alabama State, and then you squeaked out a win against South Alabama. And, by the way, like 12 people are going to games in the Rose Bowl.
You're in L.A., all right. You're not expecting them to go to college football that much when the Dodgers are trying to win championships.
So,
baseball.
But that's the thing is when you talk about football in the state of California, how far down do you go before you hit UCLA?
Not as far as you think. However, it's the whole thing of you're in LA.
Right.
Unless you're winning a championship, those people don't care. They barely care about the Rams, and they just won a Super Bowl.
I could see Chip Kelly getting the axe.
I don't see it that way.
Because they got Colorado this week, Washington, Utah, Oregon, Stanford, Arizona State, Arizona, USC, and then Cal.
I see them going 8-4 in that situation at worst.
But with Chip Kelly, did you have 8-4 expectations?
Yeah, that program was a dumpster fire when he got a hold of it.
Okay, I feel differently.
I understand what you're saying with fan apathy and everything, but that's just UCLA in general. I mean, college football.
If I'm UCLA, why don't we work on building an on-stadium campus first?
Let's do that first. Well, I mean, it's actually not that far away from campus. Actually, it's actually.
But when 12 people, and Keith agrees with you, he's not sure that Chip Kelly could be on his way out.
So here's the issue exactly with fans, especially out west, and I had to come to grips with this when I moved out here to the East Coast. You don't care about a college until you actually go to the college,
right?
So you're talking UCLA. They're not grabbing Joe Blow off the street. They're grabbing the cream of the crop. Oh yeah, they're getting the cream of the tippity top. They are they are one of the Ivy League schools of the West. With them and Stanford, they are the private, really, really smart people institutions. And you've also got money in the basketball program, which even that fell off too.
Right, but we all know what makes the university the money.
Exactly.
But when you have 12 people going to games, you're not really making any money.
You're thinking in the SEC way. You got to think in the West Coast way.
I don't know how.
It's more the Field of Dreams way, especially in LA. Especially in LA, you have to win it, and then they'll come.
Speaking of our brother in Stanford, we also have Stanford on this list as well.
Oh, David Shaw's gone.
I'm not sure it's not that David Shaw can't coach, because I do expect him to get another job. I'm just not sure how much Stanford is invested in athletics anymore.
It's the academic qualifications. It's also, I don't think David Shaw's that great of a coach. I think that he relied a lot on Jim Harbaugh's players that he had going
been the
there.
Head coach there for what, 7 or 8 years now?
Exactly, but when was he successful? When was he successful in putting guys in the league? He was putting guys in the league with Jim Harbaugh.
Are we going to talk about Christian McCaffrey or no?
I mean, Christian McCaffrey was a Harbaugh recruit.
Was he?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean,
Fair
Harbaugh had that thing rolling in Palo Alto. And,
that's true.
And Shaw was just able to keep it going until he actually had to do it on his own. And now you're seeing the recruiting and everything, the talent start dropping off. That's what I'm saying about him.
He has been at Stanford. He is going into his 12th year at Stanford.
Exactly. And look at his records.
11-2, 12-2, 11-3, 8-5, 12-2, 10-3, 9-9, 4-4, COVID year, 3-9, and he's 1-1. Do you think their inability to shift that offense earlier than they have hurt them?
I don't know if it's been that. I just think it's a lack of talent.
Okay.
I think it's a talent issue. I mean,
does USC not being good for all these years and all the talent leaving the state hurt Stanford?
Yes.
Okay. I also think that.
Okay.
I also think if USC is good, more of that talent is staying in state. And if they can't get
I would say that Stanford mostly used De La Salle High School in Oakland.
Right.
And everyone started grabbing De La Salle players.
Absolutely. When Oregon was good, they were pulling out of there.
Yes.
And I agree. You look – I mean, Andrew Luck was a David Shaw recruit.
Yes.
No.
Okay.
No, he wasn't.
He was a Harbaugh.
He was a Harbaugh recruit. So I get your point. But I just feel like if USC would have been better, Stanford would have been able to get players that would have left USC but wanted to stay in California.
There is that you can say that everyone came and started raiding California once USC got bad. So I would agree.
I have two more. I have South Florida. I don't know what your expectations for South Florida are, but whatever they are, Jeff Scott's not going to get done.
You can't go 2-10, dude. Can't go 2-10.
You brought up Navy. Seems like they do this every couple of years. They win 8, 9 games, and then for 2 years they go like 2-10.
But it's been falling off even further than that, and you can't lose. And you lost that domination from Army, which I know is the biggest game for those.
Also, that game is today, by the way.
Oh, what? Army Navy?
That's what. No, Navy Air Force, I think. Army.
No. Air Force beat Nevada.
Okay, so Navy. No. What is today?
No.
Anyways,
no. Army Navy's in December.
Never mind. They don't play Air Force. Never mind. They played last night. I'm sorry. I can't be perfect all the time. Yeah. Okay. So that gets through our potential openings. James, you and I both have a coach that we want to talk about. You were fairly surprised by mine, so I'm going to let you go first because you have beat this drum for 800 weeks in a row, and I am not against it. I completely agree with you.
And I will beat it for 500 more.
That's fine until somebody goes and gets your man.
Until somebody calls Jamie Chadwell. They play East Carolina tonight, and they're going to get freaking run.
And East Carolina will probably throw the ball all over them.
Yeah, and they're 0-2 right now. So, yeah, that's why Navy's probably going to get a new head coach. Is
Paul Johnson available?
Exactly. He is. Somebody go to Conway, South Kakalaka. Go get my dreamboat, my man from Corrington, Tennessee. Who played at East Tennessee State University.
His celebrity crush right now.
Yo, do not be hating. I want see. Here's my way. I'm a very jealous lover here. Okay, I want him to go someplace, get good, get his name great, and then when Tennessee, whenever Josh Heupel decides to leave, Tennessee calls coming, and King Jamie comes home instead of King Johnny, like it was with Johnny Majors in '78.
If I read you these names, what is the best situation for Jamie Chadwell to end up?
Arizona State, easy.
Arizona State, okay. So, I mean, if we look, he's only 45.
Yep.
He's 34 and 19 since he took over full time in 2019. He is 22 and 3 in the last 2 seasons, not including 4-0 this year. Won the Sun Belt in 2020 was just his year. Won the Sun Belt Coach of the Year, AP Coach of the Year, Walter Camp Coach of the Year, Home Depot Coach of the Year, Eddie Robinson Coach of the Year. Why is he still in Conway, South Carolina?
Why is he? He beat Billy Napier. He beat App State. He beat BYU. He beat Zach Wilson's BYU.
He beat Northern Illinois in the bowl game last year.
Exactly.
Why is he still?
Because people are still hung up at all of his recruiting violations he had to do at USC Upstate. Because it's USC Upstate.
Yes, because people were afraid of Southern Cal for that same reason.
Yeah, people were afraid because of University of South Carolina Upstate, him having to do some little shady recruiting, shady recruiting at Mississippi Valley State. # shout out Jerry Rice.
Like, this man has shown he can do it. His offense works.
It does.
His offense works. He gets everybody involved. He spreads the ball around.
And he runs the ball.
And I don't, James, I think you're going to get your wish.
Oh,
I don't think after this year. All right, trivia question. Kansas has not been ranked since October 18th, 2009. Holds the longest poll drought, 208 weeks. Which Power 5 team has the second longest drought? I know it's not Vanderbilt because Vanderbilt had the James Franklin years.
Yeah, Vanderbilt had the James Franklin years. Would it be Duke?
No. Duke in the mid-2000s under David Cutcliffe were ranked.
My boy Cut, yeah.
I'm waiting for them to show me the answer.
Arizona State or Arizona?
No, Arizona when they had Khalil Tate a few years ago. Texas Tech was ranked when they had Mahomes. Cal's been pretty bad. But no, they had the Jeff Tedford years, so no, they were actually good then. God bless, because that's a toughie. Because I mean, you had South Carolina ranked when they were good. I don't know. So I don't know if it's going to give me the answer.
Miami's been ranked, so no.
No, because they had even the Mark Richt years, they were up to second.
Yep.
Well, I missed the answer. Anyways, we'll have to look
Boston
it up.
College probably. No, they were ranked last year too.
Wait a second. No, I think they were ranked last year.
Yeah.
I don't know. Let's look. Longest.
Anyway, okay. So while you're doing that, you also had a very interesting pick, and I didn't even think about this, but he's also kind of on the what I like to call the Mike Gundy grind of at your alma mater, but flirting with other places to get more money. You were talking about Jonathan Smith at Oregon State.
Yes. Now I kind of go back and forth on him because he is an Oregon State alum. Now he is 19 and 28, but for what he took over.
Oh God, it was
at
terrible.
Oregon State,
It was terrible.
It was. He's 1-1 in ball games. Since the start of last season, he's 10-6, and he's 3-0 this year. And he worked under a coach I wish would come back in college football, Chris Peterson.
Dude, he's happy. Chris Peterson he's happy at where he's at, though.
I don't blame him. I don't blame him. He worked under Chris Peterson at Boise State and at Washington. So he's worked under a coach that had success. I like what he's building at Oregon State. People are going to football games. Oregon State is being talked about. I think he's like 49?
43.
43. So he's even younger than Chadwell.
He is.
But he doesn't have the head coaching experience that Chadwell has. Actually, a lot he does. He hasn't been a head coach near as long.
No, he hasn't been. However, here's my warnings about him. Here's my only worrying about him. And it's been with the Boise State coaches. You stay in the Pacific Northwest.
Right.
You can't be leaving the Pacific Northwest. Look at Brian Harsin. You already fish.
Well,
the Pacific Northwest is a different animal.
I agree. So you stay at Oregon State. But I think I don't know if he goes to Arizona State. I don't know if you leave, I don't think he stays in conference.
No.
And I'm just not sure which one of these other jobs is much of an upgrade.
They're lateral moves at best, but also, once again, I reiterate, the Pacific Northwest is a different region of the United States. It's weirder. It's a different vibe up there. And you're going to a different place if you're going to any of these other places, especially coming down south. It is a culture shock, and you better be ready for it.
And we have that conversation weekly as we talk to different people throughout the week. It's like people don't understand
I will tell you this. This was my first year. Okay, so I moved to Dandridge, Tennessee, which is outside of Knoxville, in 2000. My first high school football game. I was in the band. I couldn't play football because I was not 300. I was not 6'2", 300 pounds. It just was not happening in my life. Okay, I graduated 5'9" to 140 pounds. Okay, I was not built for football. I got to my stepdad parks the car. I remember this to the day I die. Parks the car, turns to me, and says, "I know you like football. I know you've been following football, and you are very knowledgeable about football. Do not engage with these people tonight. You sit back and you watch. Do not share your opinion yet. Wait." I took that to heart. And I say that because the little old lady that runs the pharmacy at Tinsley Bible Drugstore back then, when she would get my mom's prescriptions, she was there. She said, "Oh, hey, honey, how you doing?" and everything. Not 5 minutes after that game started, and that ref missed that first holding call, I heard her dog cussing this person. Never heard her say an ill word in my life. I started hearing every single profanity the Bible's ever known coming out of her mouth. I knew it was different.
Man. I have never been outside of the Southeast. So there are two types of people when I talk to. People that understand football and people that don't. And you can always tell when you're talking to someone who lives down here. Because they have the passion and the knowledge, not just of their school, but the knowledge of, hey, not all records are created the same.
Exactly.
Michigan's 3-0 is not Ohio State's 3-0. It's not Texas's, or it's not Alabama's 3-0. It's not Georgia's. These records, you are not what your record says you are.
No.
If Arkansas was 1-2 right now, would you say they're a bad team?
Yes.
I mean,
yeah, we would call them a bad team, even though they have played a really, really tough schedule, and they're going to play a tougher schedule coming.
Right.
So yes, their 6-6 is different than we say Arizona State 6-6.
Right. And I try to have conversations with people all the time. Your Power 5, your 8 or 9 wins are not like a G5 8 or 9 wins.
No, 8 or 9 wins in the G5 is a disappointment.
People
8 or
talk
9
about all
wins
the
in
time,
the SEC
you
is
know,
different.
and we're going to use Michigan because we bagged on Michigan because they have played. The only team that might have played a softer schedule than that is Mississippi, and we're the only reason
Mississippi played a Power
because
5
Mississippi
team.
played Georgia Tech, but Michigan's played Colorado State, Hawaii, and UConn. Those are teams you should beat by 21 points just by stepping on the field.
Once again, we spell out Michigan's September schedule as SAWFT soft.
So, all right, James. Well,
they don't play a team until October 15th. Okay,
right?
They don't play a team.
And I would give them a little credit if they would have played a P5 team. Yeah, because at least Mississippi in their soft ass schedule played Georgia Tech.
Yes.
Now Minnesota gets the same look. They played a P5 team. They played Colorado. Does that really count?
No, it doesn't. Unfortunately,
just like Georgia Tech doesn't really count.
Unfortunately, Colorado's at Group of 5 level right now until they grow up and play real football.
And they're probably Group of 5 level teams better than they are.
Exactly. You cannot. Okay, Minnesota has not played somebody outside of the Central and Mountain time zone yet.
Yeah.
Let's put that in perspective. Okay, they haven't had a tough schedule. Now, congratulations, you play Michigan State now.
This is a great point. Keith brought up a great point. When Oregon was good with Chip Kelly, the Pacific Northwest were fans. Like that whole region cheered for.
Oh God. No, I'm sorry. Last year's national championship game, I was rooting for the freaking Taliban. All right.
But that's a good point. Like down here in the South, if Tennessee is playing Alabama in their national championship game, we're not all cheering for one team.
No. You guys are cheering for a terrorist attack.
National championship game. Even the SEC fans don't want Alabama to win.
No, they're like, well, who do you think? Are you excited that Georgia and Alabama are in the playoffs? I'm like, no,
because it's not us.
It's not us. I got to play them two jerks every year.
And they're on my schedule every year.
Every single solitary year.
And that's the one thing we try to talk about. Well, these schedules are not the same either.
No.
Okay, so Tennessee and Georgia have played not so great competition. Tennessee plays Georgia, Alabama, Kentucky, Florida every single year.
Solitary year. And then
not to mention they've grabbed Pitt on their schedule for the next couple of years too.
No, we play Virginia next year, so no.
Oh yeah, okay. Well, but that's the point. Like you have the potential to add. Oh, by the way, from the West, you could pull Arkansas.
Yeah.
Or you could pull LSU because I do think Brian Kelly's going to figure that out because he's not limited in his recruiting.
Luckily, we have to go to Death Valley this year. Congratulations.
If Tennessee became big, South Carolina fans don't root for Tennessee.
Absolutely not. They actually hate our guts.
It's absolutely the truth.
They hate our guts.
That's absolutely the truth.
I know this for a fact. I live down there too.
I told you earlier, Tennessee and Florida are playing, and I don't know what to do with my hands.
Yeah, you're going to sit there and watch it. You're hoping for a bloodletting. You're hoping for a bloodletting.
Can the game end in a tie?
Not anymore. It's like kissing your cousin. You're hoping for multiple ACL tears. You're hoping.
No, I'm really not though.
I'm joking. I'm being hyperbole.
I'm really not though. But yes, hyperbole. I want the score to be 3-2, and there be 5 total yards of offense.
Yeah, you don't.
That's what I want to see right now.
You want to see a monsoon come and the entire Neyland Stadium be risen from the Tennessee River and moved. Okay.
Yes. Relocated in the Atlantic Ocean, and we'll be
exactly. The Gulf of Mexico. Actually,
we'll be fine. That's even better. Even better. But he's true, and I found myself even down here in the Southeast when Oregon was good. They were must-watch TV.
Yeah,
when SEC teams are good, nobody wants to sit and watch them. It's when they lose. Here's my thing. Everybody wants these SEC teams. You know what people want Alabama and Georgia's SEC schedule to be? They want them to play the LA Rams, the Kansas City Chiefs. They want them to play Green Bay. They want to play the 1985 Bears.
Yep.
And we also want you to have Ohio State on their schedule. We also want you to have whatever the league above the NFL is. Also, you're supposed to do it with one hand tied behind your back.
And you know what? And they're going to get what they want. Because I know Greg Sankey's going to be like, we're going to do the NFL.
Right. If we want to play an NFL team, guess what?
We're going to do it. We'll do it.
Oh, by the way, we want Alabama to have to play Alabama too.
Yes, absolutely. I do want them to have a inter squad scrimmage and have an absolute bloodletting happen.
Absolutely.
I mean,
I want to see a mix of ones and twos on each side, and I want to watch their spring game.
exactly.
But that's what people want the SEC schedule to be.
And I get it and I understand it, but I mean, there's a reason why they have to schedule and you know what? They're going to get what they want in this next one when Oklahoma and Texas come. It's going to turn into 9 or 10 game
as I said
and
before,
you're not going to see us.
As I said before, if you think the SEC dominates now,
just wait.
You just wait till the expanded playoffs and the SEC gets 4 teams in.
And they start winning. And they're going to go into your house. They're going to come into your kitchen.
They're going to come onto your soil, and they're going to destroy you.
They're going to come. They're going to open up. They're going to come into your kitchen, open up the fridge. They're going to take out the nice meat and cheeses, throw the wrappers on the floor, and walk away.
And they're going to leave everything out on the fucking counter, like a damn.
Exactly.
So, all right. Well, let's get through some of these picks, and we'll get out of here.
All right.
Our first one is Baylor and Iowa State.
Now I love the fighting Dave Arandas.
You know, Dave Aranda's our person, but I am not sure. I wasn't impressed by the BYU game, and they haven't played anybody else.
They haven't. However,
hold on. Keith's got us right here. No, any given Saturday in expanded playoffs.
Oh God, no. There's still going to be any given Saturday. I'm sorry.
We are.
You're still going to get them.
Have your upsets.
Oh, you're going to get them.
More likely than not, the SEC team will come in your house and make a sandwich.
Oh yeah, they're going to make a sandwich in your kitchen. I'm sorry.
Keith says Iowa State. Who you got?
I got Baylor. Still,
I agree.
I'm not big, and it's not because I don't hate Matt Campbell. I think he's a great coach and what he's doing great there. I have not seen. I want to see Iowa State play somebody.
Somebody needs to go get Matt Campbell.
He's going to wait for Ohio State. He's waiting for Ohio State. He's doing the Billy Napier watch.
Right, but Ryan Day's not going to leave anytime soon.
I get that, but he's patient. The patient spider gets the fly. I still don't believe Iowa State's played anybody. I think Iowa's not that good this year.
I'm not saying I don't disagree with you.
So I'm going to go with Baylor, even though and I'm doing this just because Dave Aranda.
All right, Clemson, Wake Forest. Who you got?
For all the hell that David Clawson went through the 2008 Tennessee season, he is a really good coach.
He really is.
I still don't think they're good enough to beat Clemson.
I am going to go Wake Forest. I still have not seen enough from DJ in that offense. You struggled in the first half against Georgia Tech, and you played some cupcakes. Now Wake Forest has played Liberty, who is okay, and Vanderbilt, who's Vanderbilt. Yeah. But I'm not sure if that offense can keep up with the amount of points. If Wake Forest turns this into a shootout, do you have enough faith that Clemson's offense can keep up with them?
No, absolutely not.
And that's
But I believe their defense.
But that's what I'm banking on. Plus, the game is in Winston-Salem.
That's not that big of a deal for me.
I didn't say it was, but that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Oh, okay. Good luck with that.
We have the Fighting Mike Elkos and the Fighting Lance Leipold. I will only let you assume who I'm going with.
Well, James. I'm gonna go right with you because I'm gonna be on that Lance Leipold thing. Not because I don't think Mike Elko's a good coach. I just don't think Duke's got the guys to beat Kansas.
Oh, here comes Matt. He come in right as we started talking about Kansas. Shocker. Not Matt makes the perfect entrance.
Where's Matt? He's got the briefcase. He's coming to cash it in.
He's cashing it in. We're gonna have a new champion.
By the way, first off, while we're doing this, everyone who's mad about the EST being the guest picker for College Game Day today really needs to go check themselves.
Explain that story because not a lot of people know that she is a former track athlete at UT.
Not just track athlete, born and raised and went to high school in Knoxville, Tennessee. I don't care if she calls Nayland. Do not care. She went to school here. I'm pounding everything, and I'm sorry, and I'm getting angry about this. But
you already had Dolly Parton as a picker on game day.
We haven't, but that's not the point.
I thought she did a while. I thought she did many, many years ago. I could have sworn
she might have done it many, many years ago. As you see my terrible room. And
that's what I'm saying. Is she has been a picker on game day before. I don't understand the big deal behind it. Let them have who they're going to have. If you didn't know that she went to UT and she was an alum, and just say it. Say you didn't know.
Exactly. Just say you didn't know. Hold on. Messy room, messy room, messy room.
Speaking of your UT, the next one we're going to pick is Florida and Tennessee, and I am going to go with Florida. No, I'm just kidding. I'm going to go with Tennessee. I'm not sure how much I trust Anthony Richardson. He has shown me nothing. And when you have the same amount of tackles as touchdown passes as a quarterback, that probably doesn't bode well for you.
Especially coming in to our house, and you've been seeing all morning how freaking rabid they are at this moment. I'm hoping and praying that this is the bloodletting that it needs to happen here. I don't want this.
James,
I want this to be over early and often.
How hard are you going to be to shut up this week if Tennessee wins 55-7?
Oh, I'm going to be the most insufferable human being on planet Earth.
Are you going to be the most insufferable human being if Tennessee wins, period, or just if they blow them out?
Oh, all the above.
Okay. So I'm going to block you this week. I just want you to know that. I fully expect Tennessee to borderline blow out Florida because they have shown nothing offensively that makes me feel like they can score.
Look, okay, I am, and trust me, I'm not going to be going like, oh, Tennessee going to the playoff yet. Okay.
Thank you for being reasonable at least.
Yeah, I'll be at least a skosh reasonable.
Thank you for at least acknowledging that Georgia and Alabama are on your schedule.
Yes, trust me, I am well aware of that.
Well, some people tend to forget. Well, Tennessee can make the playoffs. Yeah, who they beat?
They can.
Tennessee or Alabama. You got to beat one. You got to beat one, and then you got to beat one and the other one twice.
Congratulations. Yeah, they can. Yes, the word "can" is a possibility. It's not probable, but it's.
Isn't that what the MythBusters used to say? Possible, but not probable.
Exactly. It's possible, not probable. Now, I'm still fully if they beat Florida like a drum, like The Rock once beautifully said. I expect this is where the expectations go from 8-4, 9-3 to 10-2.
Right, I agree.
It's gonna get real interesting because Alabama does have to come to Knoxville.
The unknown about Tennessee winning 9 or 10 games this year is we don't know what Florida was going to be. We didn't know how improved South Carolina was going to be. We don't know how good Kentucky's going to be. And while, yes, Tennessee has always had Kentucky's numbers, this is the first step in going from 7-6 to 9-3 or 10-2.
These are the steps that Tennessee needs to take to get back to what they.
And when was the last time you saw building steps like this?
It's been a while. Let's cue up the Stained. It's been a while.
It's been a while.
Exactly.
I said I'm sorry. Okay. The next one is Minnesota on the road at Michigan State.
Here's where I'm calling it. I don't know. I don't have enough faith in Minnesota yet. I don't know what I'm seeing yet. Even though I know Michigan State has an anemic offense at the moment, I still think they can come out because it's at home. They can win this game, and I feel like that's going to be a big feather in the cap for Mel Tucker.
Who is the better coach, Mel Tucker or PJ Fleck?
Mel Tucker.
I agree. Minnesota's run the ball over everybody this year, and if we know one thing about Mel Tucker, he's worked under Nick Saban, he's worked under Kirby Smart. What are the one thing these two coaches do? Defense.
Stop the run.
Defense. I'm going Michigan State as well. Our friend Jody, I think, is locked in on this Notre Dame-North Carolina game this week. North Carolina's going to help Notre Dame score some points because they can't stop anything. I just think that offense is going to be too explosive for North Carolina to lose the game. They allowed 40 points in the fourth quarter and won the damn game.
Appalachian State.
I am going to pick North Carolina to win this game.
I'm going to pick North Carolina because I'm sorry, I hate to say this, Cal's bad. Cal's a bad football team, and you struggled against them. You had to pull out.
Let's see. 64, 62, 126 points, over or under 126 points.
Oof.
If that was the number, would you believe it?
I would actually believe that one because
I'm going to curious, and I'm going to see what the over/under is for this game.
But here's my thing. Also, this is Notre Dame's second road game, and the first one didn't do the best thing for the offense.
While you talk about Oregon and Washington State, I'm going to look at the over/under on this North Carolina.
Here's why I'm going to go Washington State. And it's not because I don't think Oregon's a good football team. And I don't think their coach.
You mean you don't like Bo Nix?
I don't believe Bo Nix. All right.
No, it's Nix with a P, not Nix.
It is. I'm sorry. I got to say it correct. Bo Nix or Bo Picks.
56.5 is the over/under on that note. Take the over.
Yeah,
Take
that's
the
an over. Yeah,
if
that's
you're
an
betting over
over.
and unders, take the overs. Anyways, go ahead.
Bo Picks is the most inconsistent quarterback I have ever seen in my entire
And
life.
he's had two really good weeks, so that's what scares me.
That's what scares me. Exactly. He's
And they're
on
coming off a
the
big
JG
win
hype
against
train.
BYU at home. And they're going on the road to Pullman.
Yeah, exactly.
I am also going Washington State. I do not trust Bo Nix on the road.
Exactly. I don't either. I don't.
You beat Eastern Washington, you beat BYU at home. And when you played in Atlanta, you looked pedestrian at most.
Well, I mean, Georgia's going to do that to a lot of people.
That's very true. Hendon Hooker, look out. No, I'm just kidding. I'm afraid of Hendon Hooker.
Hey, we scored on you last year.
Hey, I just said I was afraid of Hendon Hooker, okay? Arizona. Arkansas at A&M. Who you got?
I got Arkansas still. I don't trust A&M. That offense is bad.
That's what I don't know where the offense is going to come from, so that's concern number one for me. Concern number two is I'm curious what Sam Pittman's going to take from the Appalachian State game. Appalachian State held the ball for 40 minutes. I can see Arkansas doing the same thing.
Yep.
And that defense didn't look that much better against Miami last week.
So how many plays did Texas A&M run against Appalachian State? They ran something like 25 plays or something.
I don't even think it was that many. Let's see.
It was silly.
I don't even think it was that many.
And Arkansas has the very, very well ability with KJ Jefferson and their running back core to keep the ball out of their hands and just do 4-yard runs the entire game. And then this is where Jimbo is going to be in some very interesting waters if he.
Well, they had 180 total yards.
Ooh,
is what A&M had in that game. Appalachian State ran the ball for 181 yards.
The time of possession was insane.
40 to 20. That's what I said. Arkansas has the ability to slow down and hold the ball for 40 minutes.
Exactly, and they're going to do it. They're going to run the ball.
The next one, we have Kansas State on the road at Oklahoma. We had Oklahoma on our potential upset watch. Kansas State has won 3 in a row against Oklahoma. That being said,
I'm still going to go Oklahoma
because that defense looks nasty.
It does, but I hope this shows if Brent Venables has a weakness, I think Klein can expose it.
Yeah, because you have Deuce Vaughn and you have Adrian Martinez, our friend from Nebraska, who can still run the ball. So I'm definitely going to kind of peek on this game. I'm going to be intrigued to see what it looks like. It's in Norman, so that gives me a little bit of, makes me feel a little better. But, it's college football. Anything can happen. Exactly. Our last one, the USC Trojans, who I feel like are ranked entirely too high, are on the road against Oregon State.
Yep, I got Oregon State. I think USC hasn't played anybody. I understand Lincoln. These are the games that Lincoln Riley loses.
Do I want to pick with my heart or my head right now? That's what this comes down to.
Oh no, I'm picking with my heart.
Because I feel
clear hearts, full minds can't lose.
This is a game that Lincoln Riley and USC would lose.
These are the games that he loses, and this is why he's going up to Corvallis. I bet he's never seen Corvallis, Oregon in his entire life. And
do you want to know why I'm tempted to pick? Why I'm tempted to pick Oregon State here? I'm just pulling up some numbers. Hold on. What is the biggest knock on Lincoln Riley?
Don't play defense.
He doesn't play defense. Thank you. I'm glad you said that. I'm glad I didn't have to help you through there.
Oh, geez. I think Ray Charles could have seen that Lincoln Riley don't play defense.
Listen here. Sorry, I'm trying to.
Shouts out to Albany, Georgia, there because that's
all right. Let's look just in the Pac-12. Okay, yards per game. USC 380 on defense. Oregon State 357. Let's see, and 203 there. And USC allows 177 on the ground. So I am tempted to pick Oregon State. I'm looking to see they run the ball for about 90 yards a game.
Here's Oregon's big thing. Here's Oregon's biggest thing. They throw it for
278, and their offense only averages 45.5 points a game, only behind USC. Would you be surprised? Would you be surprised if this was a shootout?
No, I wouldn't. And now here's the thing: can Oregon State lock up Nelson enough to
Nelson
or their wide receiver
Addison?
Addison. Sorry, I think it was
It's like
Nelson
Nelson
Addison.
Aguilar doesn't play there anymore.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, if Addison, if they can lock up Addison, and that's Cam Williams' favorite target, Oregon State has a chance to win this game.
I talked myself into picking Oregon State. I
Glad
decided
I
to
can do
pick
that
with
for
my
you.
heart. I was going to pick with my head. But these are the games that Lincoln Riley usually tends to sleepwalk his teams through. We have seen them go down big, and we have seen them go down big and have to play catch up. Couple of things here, Matt. I agree with Matt. Leave Lance alone. I've been on this train for weeks.
Go get them. Go fire them running cannons.
Keith brought us. James Madison is a 6.5-point dog to App State. I am going App State. One, James Madison has played nobody. And I feel like the struggle last week against Troy came from the high of the A&M win.
It did. However,
and we've listened to Sean Clark sit and talk about it's a 5-star program, not 5-star players. I trust the program. If this is me, I am betting App State in the points.
So is that at App? Is that in Boone or is that in?
I don't know. I have to look. Let me look. I'll let you know. And because, I think this is James Madison's first game in the Sun Belt too.
So this is the first time in the Fun Belt, which I love.
Yes, it is at App State.
Okay, so that's why the only reason why I'm thinking App State's still going to win by 7 points. But I think James Madison's a really great program, and I think they are in a wonderful spot right now.
Yes,
both Virginia schools being down, they can grab whatever they want there now, being a Division I school, and it's actually a really nice campus. I actually really like the area. I
watched their first game against Middle Tennessee. I think they're going to do well. They're going to give some P5 teams hell. Hashtag watch out for the Sun Belt as always.
Fun Belt, Old Dominion, and James Madison. Watch out! They've expanded into Virginia.
They've won at the FCS level, so I am definitely intrigued. If it's me, I'm taking App State in the points only because I know what kind of program App State is.
Yeah, this is James Madison's first time actually playing. And they're in the big boy leagues, and let's see what they got.
And they've played softer than tissue. I know they played Middle Tennessee. They won 44-7. They played Norfolk State. And they won 63-7.
Okay, so only Michigan has a weaker schedule. Got it.
Right, pretty much. And they've only allowed 14 points, where Michigan's allowed more than that. As I said in our chat this week, if you've allowed less than 10 points and beat a ranked team, then we can talk about defense. I'm sorry. Was that too elite for everybody? I apologize. Y'all know
I'm sorry. No, I'm not because we did the same thing.
You know I got to talk about. You know I got to act bougie sometimes. Okay?
Exactly.
Georgia puts me up higher than they should be. I like James Madison. They're going to win in the Sun Belt. It's going to take time.
It is, but I feel the program I feel the most scared about James Madison coming in there into Division I, real Division I, is Virginia Tech, because Beamer made a living recruiting out of DC and Newport News, and now James Madison's right there. And James Madison's closer. Right. They are an hour and a half. They're like 2 hours away from DC, right. 2 hours from Richmond, and they're like 2 hours from Newport News.
Absolutely. So my pick.
So
I don't have to do this over again. Okay, they did good. I just think James Madison is too young of a program.
They ain't ready for this yet. They ain't ready. They got the prime time, but I don't think they're ready for prime time.
No. In a couple of years, this will be a good game. I don't know how much I expect. I expect more from A&M. From App State, coming off that A&M win, and then the struggle.
I guess a good Troy team. That Troy team is really good.
And Troy was down their best defender, and they still put up a fight.
Yeah.
So I definitely think that the App State's going to be able to cover this.
For some reason, Troy is like the most secretly really good Fun Belt program because they got all of Dothan, Alabama to themselves.
Right. Because people that don't want to be at Alabama or Auburn and want to stay in the state, go to Troy or UAV.
Exactly.
So, anything you want to add before we get out of here?
Everybody, please pray for Knoxville tonight.
No.
It might burn.
Me when I have to deal with James all week. Okay,
It might burn. It might burn tonight.
it might win if they might burn if they win. It also might burn if they lose. Okay.
Oh, it just no. That the scale of it might burn to definitely will burn happens if Tennessee loses. It will burn. If they win, it might not burn.
What are your okay? That leaves. I'll leave it on this. What are your expectations for Tennessee if they lose this game?
It'd be a disappointment. I still think they would still go 8-4, 7-5.
I still think they can win 8 wins even after losing this game. I think this and the Kentucky game is the difference between 8 wins and 10 wins.
I'm sorry for feeling a lot more confident about Kentucky because
that's fine.
Good Kentucky
but we have
teams
to at least give Kentucky the benefit of the doubt that they're good.
Yes, but they every time they come up here thinking they're going to win the game and then they lose.
Yeah. And yes, we are riding for Lawrence at 12 o'clock. That's why you didn't know that.
Yes, we are riding for Lawrence.
I just like how much is that going to deter you? If they lose to Florida, do you expect 9-3?
No.
Okay. Then where do you see a fourth loss? Because you've got Alabama, Georgia, and then if you lose to Florida, you win out. That's still 9-3.
No, lose to LSU.
Okay, so you think LSU will give you problems? Okay,
yeah.
I didn't know LSU was on their schedule this year.
Yeah, we go to Death Valley. 2 weeks.
That's dirty.
And then
congratulations to Alabama, as it is every couple of years. You play them right before you play Alabama.
Yes, and we're doing that.
Love that for you. Love that for you.
So much fun.
Love that for you. All right, Wells.
Hashtag Tennessee doesn't play anybody.
Right. Of course they don't. Of course they don't. Except for they play Team 1 and Team 2 every year. But, who cares? Who cares? All right. Well, that's going to wrap up this week. We've picked some winners. We've talked we've talked surprise teams. We've talked big games, upset alerts, potential openings.
Now everybody go and enjoy what we got.
Now everybody stop what you're doing.
We get 12 weeks.
30-second prayer for James to make it into work on Monday because Knoxville may not be there.
Luckily, I'm at an armed facility, so thus we will not have people there outside of the nuns that tried to break in once.
Just man. Well, again, and also pray for me because at 3:30 I'm about to deal with this. So.
Oh yes, you are. Oh! Everybody on the the Rocky Mountain Sports Network chat room's going to be dealing with
chat. Be ready. That's all I got to say.
Oh, be ready. I mean, luckily I'll have my nephews, so I won't be lubricated.
You'll just show it. You already told me you're going to show them how to flip a car, so I don't believe that.
No. I'm not going to be drunk. I'm not going to be drinking.
Then you won't have the strength to flip a car. You're going to have to start drinking to be able to flip the car.
I highly doubt. No. See, it's all about momentum and numbers.
So you and him are going to do it.
No, exactly. We've got over 200,000 people at campus right now.
So that means more than one car is getting flipped.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
I'm glad I'm nowhere near Knoxville today.
You don't want to be.
All right, guys. Well, that wraps up this week. Make sure you join us every Saturday from 9:30 to 11. Question mark?
Almost.
Yeah, 11 every Saturday as we talk through some college football, get you prepared for the weekend, talk about what's already happened. For Caleb, that's merely James, and we'll see if he survives Knoxville. We'll have an update out later in the day. Let you know how he's doing.
We'll find out in the next episode of Dragon Ball Z.
Right. Find out next time on Power Rangers. Y'all have a good day.